Yeah, because he's a wraith. And so they bring this all up, and then they say, like, you know, this is a ghost. And then also this part, again, just so I can... you know what? I'm going with more idea Disney's the one who pushed Ollie being in this season. Because of this scene. Because I can tell you an easy way you could easily write Ollie out of this. And easily... And I brought it up before, but there's an easy way that you could even keep June in this. And the Ghost Hunter thing. Like, I'm bring it up in a minute.
Well, the bloodhound of truth barks out some facts. Oh. Wait, you usually say it's cute how I call myself the bloodhound.
Not feeling...
Can we point out that the reason why she was doing the Bloodhound of Truth here and all this stuff was because she thought Molly... she was literally doing this because Molly thinks it's cute. Get the out of here, Ollie! These two, not him, these two. God, any case. They bring up that, like, how Jeff was eating and it didn't work to remember where his keys were.
Like a calculator with a broken button. It just didn't add up. So,
Ghost Chaser, Chens. We love ghosts. Root beer career. We don't chase ghosts anymore. Question. Oh shit! Oh look, there's Andrea. Andrea made a slight cameo, and also I guess June was shutting down their Me Too without them realizing it. Cave Crashers. I'm sure that's something. Let's kick booties. Ready to raid. I'm pretty sure that isn't. Wait a minute. Isn't this the group that Daryl was in? Does that mean June and Daryl actually been in like a gaming group together? I'm pretty sure I've seen this before.
did a little investigating with June.
I know this is a huge ask, and we totally understand if you
Hold
can't.
on.
Cakewalk. Next time you need a favor, come with something more challenging than
I love June.
hacking into every security camera and...
I hate Ollie, but I love June. And I only hate Ollie because he brings nothing to the table. He's literally a token boy for Molly to like. But in any case, they pretty much scanned Scratch possessing you, which is actually pretty funny seeing all of this happen via, like, digitally, like, through a camera, because, like, you don't see where Scratch is possessing it, you just see, like, you know, center. Oh.
Eating funnel cakes in the exact same way.
Let me apply the ectoplasmic enhancement filter.
Also, slight change. You totally don't see Todd eating the funnel cake in this when you do in the actual thing.
The funnel cakes that unlock Scratch's memories. It was this guy.
Todd Mortensen, lifelong Brighton resident. What's Todd Mortensen? No way! Why would this rando unlock Scratch's memories? Look at him! He's got no joy, no mischief. There's nothing at all behind those eyes. It's like he's got no soul.
Because he's me.
Scratch?
Yep. And this is then where we get that his friend was always visiting him to do all these things, but Scratch was afraid of dying. Or let's see.
While she was carpeting diem, I was playing on my phone. I was too afraid to go away. Maybe next time I would say I played it safe. I took no chances. I had no stories, no adventures, no romances.
Pretty much that he did nothing and wasted his life away, and by God, I need to get out of this goddamn house. But pretty much, like, he sings about how every time he would try to do something and he wouldn't go do it, and he would just stay home and be sad until eventually his soul just straight left him.
Never lived a day. Every time, maybe next time, I would say,
She never even said a
until
message.
the time when my soul just slipped away.
So I can only assume that the Molly the McGee house was originally Todd's house before Todd, I guess, moved somewhere smaller. I guess, I don't know.
As the years passed.
And even then, like, just seeing that transition of the room, just to show how much Molly changed his life. Or afterlife. It's kind of great.
As the years passed,
Details of my life just faded away till nothing was left.
Yep.
that's a common phenomenon with raids.
Which is
How would you know? Especially because the major ghost expert was wrong about 90%. How would you know, Ollie? How would you know?
technically what Scratch is.
A human who literally gave up his ghost.
Or maybe I couldn't remember my life because there was nothing worth remembering.
Back, Scratch!
Scratch leaves. Everyone tries to find him, which there's some really funny jokes. Like this one here is great. This is actually a really good one. I like. And also kind of, you know, this episode is supposed to also hurry back to like all of their adventures, or at least most of them.
Any ghost activity in here?
So like, you know, Grandma being here and stuff like that.
That's negative.
Check back next week.
Do not rush us.
I love that. No ghost here. Check back next week. That's dark, and then don't rush us. It's less dark, but by God.
Scratch? No. Scratch? No.
Checking all the books, checking the foods, and again, this just to show how much like Sharon is, like she's flawed, but also like it's just great. Like she's slightly very selfish, but it's really great.
No Scratch here either. But sale on scented bath bombs.
I see where you're going. We'll lure him out of hiding with decadent look.
I love that look. Like, oh right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Scratch is not here.
But if you do find him,
And even the Ghost Council seems worried.
let him know we have a matter to discuss. He needs to pick up his ghost shark.
We are not a doggy daycare. My face!
Let him know. No sign of Scratch anywhere.
And pretty much they're like, where they say they check everywhere, they can't find him. Molly figures out where he is, and he's right outside, you know, where his body now lives. Also, wait a minute, before I even get to here, I actually loved this part right here.
I lost my friendship on demand. Come back, Scratch! Oh, curse this broken curse. I lost my friendship on demand.
I love that. Like, that's great. Also, I forgot to mention in the Jinx first one, he pretty much Scratch says like he's a terrible chairman. He shouldn't be chairman, and he put a curse on the Grobes that they will search out and find the person who is worthy. And it'd be cool if it, like, I'm sure like in season 3, it was probably gonna come back to Scratch. I think it probably would have came back to Scratch or someone, because Jinx versus the World definitely feels like that was the original finale for season 2, and then this is the ending of the Ghost and Molly Mcgee, like pretty much. And I'll bring up some other stuff too in a minute. But yeah, like I love that anyways, Molly goes to talk with Scratch because she figured out where he would be.
I wonder what my life would have been like if I hadn't always played it safe. What if, when Adia said, "Come join me," I said, "You got it. I can put my microwave dinner back in the freezer. I'll be right there." Instead of, "Maybe some other time." I already invented the plastic.
Well, maybe you don't have to wonder. You could go back to living, Scratch.
And they have a whole little talk about, like, you know, Scratch could go back to living. His body's there. He could still live the rest of his life.
But this time, you could say yes. Kick fear in the rear and live your life.
I do like the idea of kicking something in the rear.
I also just realized his eyes, like, sad, kind of like a heart upside down.
But, you know what? Come on, let's hit the bargain bag. Grab some yum-yums, see how many we can stuff up my nose. The record is 20, but I think we can beat that. I've been doing nostril exercises.
Scratch, you're still playing it safe. You're still afraid.
Yeah, I'm afraid. And you should be too.
Yeah, it's funny how that sentence usually is used for a threat, and it kind of, but in a sense, this is like, it's more like idea of like, yeah, because what he says now is,
As a ghost, I forgot my human life. So what if as a human, I forget my afterlife?
and here's the thing too, even on Gravity Falls, because Gravity Falls, I had my own goddamn issues with that one. One of the major things being, like, that's the, here, okay, I'll bring it up. Okay. Gravity Falls, one of my bigger issues is, like, Mabel. But I say it because, like, some people, like, apparently some people really gave Mabel shit because she let Bill Cipher take over and all this shit. I'm like, no, she got tricked. The hell do you mean? That is not in her control, and she got tricked for it. No. What is under control, though, was whining and crying, saying, we have to stay together, Dipper, forever. You have to give up on your dreams to stay with me until I get a boyfriend, because I sure as hell know your boyfriend's probably not going to want my brother living with me forever and all that stuff. So, but you have to stay forever until that happens. And, like, it's not like I was trying to get a boyfriend this entire show and all. Yeah, it's that. I don't like Mabel for that. Another thing, and like, I'm gonna hit the thing about this too, but I feel like it would have worked a little bit more in this. You know what? I'll like, Gravity Falls' ending also has a mind wipe. I'll bring it up after. I'll bring it up at the scene. When I talk about how the one thing I would probably change about this finale.
Me?
Yeah, you. And then where would your perfect life be, huh?
I'd miss you, Scratch. So much. But maybe you won't forget.
But maybe I will.
But maybe you won't, okay? You're right. It's a risk. But risks are what make life worth living. Taking risks is how you know you're actually alive. You didn't stop playing it safe when you became a ghost, Scratch. You hid yourself away in the attic, shut yourself off from the world, and never let anybody in. You weren't brave. You were scared.
I'm pretty sure this is also the act scene from, like, the episode where the McGees left.
Being hurt, rejected.
Exact scene, or at least the animation.
Left behind.
Yeah, but that's not who you are anymore. You've changed. You've made friends. You're brave now, brave enough to share yourself with the world. And even if you forget me, I know you won't forget that. You can't stay here, Scratch. You've got to go live your life.
Why, it's gotta be right, Mal.
It's my curse.
And I like that. It's cute because, again, the whole idea is that this entire friendship started because of a curse.
If I don't remember you, I'm sorry.
Well, I will always remember you. Forever, friend.
And even, fuck, like in the last episode, an episode or two ago, they did a callback for The Perfect Day. They did a callback to the theme song, where they're like, oh god, that's so cool. Like, you know, when Molly goes, you know, is it too late to restart? I'm like, oh, that's great. And then they pull another one here, and it's freaking, oh, god.
Dream team? You and me?
For all eternity.
All eternity. Oh god. Fuck. Oh god.
Hello.
And we follow a little bit later. Scratches in some flip-flops and socks. I'll give you a pass now. But he's wearing that shirt that he was saying he wasn't, that it seemed like he wasn't gonna wear. He's happy.
Hey, how you doing? There's a smile.
report.
And first Libby pops up talking about scare reports and stuff.
I was just engrossed in this fascinating book. Did you know that some speculate a ghost council oversees the entire ghost world?
Sounds scintillating. But I don't believe in ghosts.
And it seems like Scratch doesn't remember anything.
Whoa, sorry. Gotta get these fixed.
And his family is doing everything in their power to see if he remembers or to try to make him remember them.
To the school ASAP. Gonna bust up the student of the month ceremony with my slammin' salmon cannon. Wanna come watch?
I do love a prank, but I got places to be. Have fun, random kid.
New triple choco yum yums. Care for a sample?
You could even say this is probably like her doing like the gig pig thing, so it's still a callback to kind of that, some more adventures that they've had.
They're a real nostalgia rush.
Wash it down with a Surly Sid strawberry soda to really bring back those memories.
Tempting. But I've got a bus to catch. Thanks anyway.
Bill and Bob's OK Adventure, which the second movie of Bill and Ted's Great Adventure, whatever, has to do with the afterlife and the Grim Reaper and all that stuff. How two pals, as they have an okay time, mediocrity has never been cooler. So pack your bags and go find a nondescript telephone booth.
Was that? It was. A lucky penny.
Oh, nice. Must be your lucky day.
It just might be. I'm not a monkey in a tie anymore. I quit my job, sold my
Your average Joe.
house, and now I'm heading out to seek adventure, beauty, and maybe a funnel cake or two. I love those things. You ever have one?
I have. They're good. An old friend really loved them.
And again, it's the idea, and that's the thing too. Like, we know Scratch is alive, but the way like Molly and everyone even talks about him, it's as if he died. Like he moved on, and in a way, he kind of did. Like, he's now moving on with his life, but also like it seems like, you know, he's completely gone. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, most likely, if Scratch dies, he'll remember everything. And that'll honestly be kind of cool. Like, if anything, if they ever wanted to do a follow-up to the Ghost and Molly Mcgee, have it set. Or I'll bring it up in a minute.
Should be here soon.
But so, you know, Molly's again the last stand, the last one trying to remind Scratch of who he was at least.
Everywhere. But I'll start with Chicago, catch a flight to Tokyo,
Hey, Chicago.
then New Zealand, Bora Bora, and then maybe I'll even head to Paris for a croissant.
Sounds like you'll get to everywhere eventually.
That is my intention. Well, my ride's here. So long, stranger.
Wait, I hope no matter where you go, you remember your friends right here in Brighton.
I will. And hey, who knows? Maybe I'll even come back someday for a visit. Sweet baby corn, this is gonna be happifying.
As soon as it sweet baby corn, I'm like, oh shit!
Happifying? What? Where'd that come from? I must have just made that up.
Oh god.
Whatever. You know what? I love it. And I shall be using it frequently on my travels. Arrivederci, Mal.
That too.
Oh, but I didn't tell you my...
So there's bits. Obviously, there are bits and pieces there. His memory is still there. At least some of it is. And like
Life, buddy.
You okay, Molly?
even Jeff, you know.
See you in the afterlife, buddy.
You okay, Molly?
It's okay to have big feelings.
I'm okay. Just happy to see my friend finally satisfying his soul. If I may, Maya Angelou once said, "What is a fear of living? It's being preeminently afraid of dying.
God.
It's not doing what
God.
you want
Okay.
it to do out of timidity and spinelessness. The antidote is to take full responsibility for yourself, for the time you take up and the space you occupy.
See, I don't like. Maybe you could read into this as him remembering or something, but like right here, like like one thing that I would have changed that would have been kind of like heartbreaking or what, like, well, here's Libby's whole thing.
The time you
Hold
take
on.
up and the space you occupy. If you don't know what you're here to do, then just do some good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Let's live a little. Shall we go to Sweets and Treats and split a sundae?
Yeah.
Like the one thing I would have had at least here would have been like something along the lines of like him saying like they'll be fine or something, and then like at the end going like see you later, Maul, or something like that. If only because that way you'd know like the reason why he did that was so, you know, something along the lines of like not like, I don't know, something along the lines of like wanting them to, I guess, maybe not get hung up on it or something. I don't know, but like because he probably won't be back for a long time, and you know, like this, you know, maybe it's better like that. I don't know, something like that. I still would have liked if Uncle Scratch like called every so often or some shit, but something like that I think would have been kind of nice. Just show like he fully remembers. He's just, you know, going to live his life, and he'll come back. He'll visit. I don't know.
The
God
time you
damn
take
it.
up and the space you occupy. If you don't know what you're here to do, then just do some good.
And
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
oh God.
Let's live a little. Shall we go to Sweets?
And also another thing is that Scratch put one last curse on them that whenever they say this super specific word, they'll sneeze.
Treats and split a
And
sundae?
Yeah, I think that's what Scratch would want.
Oh, we could try that new Toffee Twirl Toboggan Sundae.
Scratch would have wanted that too.
and okay. Shaman King is my favorite manga series. It is my #1 favorite manga series. And like I gotta watch the anime. And also I do recommend, if you're gonna read this, understand that originally it ended on a cliffhanger. Like it even says at the back, awesome final volume. Because it's the final volume until the creator then, I don't know if it was medical leave or whatever, but then eventually finished it with, I think, like Shaman King, like Zing Bang Boom or something like that. And then continued it with Shaman King Flowers. It was called something else, and then it became Flower. It's a whole thing. But one thing I actually really love about Shaman King is that because it revolves around ghosts. Like, and mind you, this series has a big inspiration on my own writing, my own stories, even some of them by my own art style. I love Shaman King. One of the things I love about this series, though, is its use of ghosts. Because, obviously, if a character dies, like, it isn't the end of their story. And, like, mind you, yes, you could obviously deaths and things aren't bad in some sense, in some stories and stuff like that. But the way they use it, at least in this, the death of a character doesn't have to mean the end of that character. It could have unfinished business as a ghost still. They could come back later and maybe like someone's mom, who was a main character in the first one, in the sequel series is now a ghost and a guardian ghost of someone else. And like, it's a whole thing that can be done with this. And I love that shit. The Ghost and Molly Mcgee, even though this is the end of the Ghost and Molly Mcgee, I could honestly, like I said, like, you know, it kind of ends it. Because, like, yeah, this is the end of the Ghost of Molly McGee. There's no way they can do this. And mind you, I was going to kind of wonder, like, how is this going to work if Scratch ever gets his body back? Because, I don't know, I guess, I don't know, like, they could easily spin it as Uncle Scratch. I'm like, it's weird that, obviously a girl over, like, Molly has a friend who's an older 40-year-old man or something as a friend. But you could easily say Uncle Scratch. Because that's the thing that they've really hammered in, is that Scratch is part of their family, and they are part of, and he's part of, you know, their family now. It's not just like Molly's friend. Like, that could be Molly's uncle at this point. Like, Uncle Scratch. Like, honestly, and I thought about this when we were talking about this, is if they wanted to, I would love if they did a Ghost and Molly Mcgee movie, or a Ghost and Molly Mcgee follow-up, where we see where Scratch dies. We see, you know, years later, Scratch dies. He gets all his memories back as a ghost. He meets Jeff, and he sees Jeff again, and immediately he's like, "Where's Molly?" And you could literally have, like, Jeff go, like, "They moved out of Brighton a few years ago, Scratch." And you could literally have, you know, Scratch trying to find Molly. And it could be a whole adventure thing, whether he's looking at the ghost world, like, did Molly die? Or, you know, talking with all the friends with Libby and all these other stuff, like Libby and everyone else. And actually, no, you can't talk with Libby and all that stuff. It could be a short, honestly. A short would be cool. Like, trying to find everything, but, like, maybe seeing things are different. Maybe he calls Libby, because, like, Libby could be anywhere, but they have to still have the same phone number, or something like that. Like, all this, and then you could even have, maybe, it's been long enough, Molly's older, and, like, you know, see, like, and, like, they could hug or something, like, I don't know, there's some cool shit you could do with that, and like, there's still some, and like, the reason why I also bring up Shaman King, also, is because of this ending is also slightly, like, again, kind of like how that, like, Scratch could remember who he is when he dies. There's also that idea on this fact, too, where, then, because here's the thing, and I'll say this right now. This did its ending better than Amphibia did. Because, here's, again, just the way I just said that, where we could have a story where Scratch tries to find Molly, whether she's years later and she's older and all this stuff. Because obviously it's been years since they probably met. But we know if Scratch ever dies, he could see them again. He can meet them again. We already know that those memories are there. And honestly, again, this does the Gravity Falls ending also better, because in the Gravity Falls ending, they shoot. What was it? Uncle Stan shoots himself in the head with a memory wiping gun to erase Bill Cipher, because no one can remember whatever. Erase Bill Cipher, and it supposedly erases his memories. But then at the very end, oh no! The power of love rejuvenated my memories. It's like, damn it. And mind you, yes, I know I'm saying, and yes, I know I straight said, like, yeah, there should be a scene where, Scratch right here just going, like, they'll be fine. And something like that, like, yes, I know I'm saying that after talking shit about Gravity Falls, but the Gravity Falls one is literally that they need to erase the memory mind to kill Bill Cipher. So the memory he shouldn't be able to regain his memories at all. This one stuck with its guns, it seems like, to keep that happening. And also they did do something that they did actually do in the credits. They show Scratch living his life, going to the different, having his grand old adventure. And the thing is, like, I was like, man, like, he's going alone? And, like, I kind of guessed what was going to be at the end. See, and that's the thing, too. Like, I would love if he did kind of at least remember, because, again, like, the whole idea wasn't the whole memory wipe thing. Like, imagine him sending all of these to Molly. Seeing, like, Uncle Scratch in this place, Uncle Scratch here, like... Goodbye, Mickey. Out on a boat. Because how cool would it have been to see, like, seeing all of these as, like, stuff that Molly was looking at, all the little postcards and all that. In the end, we see him hugging Adia, and obviously then Molly hugging Scratch, and again, like you could easily, you could have done that. You really could have, like, had a little that he does remember. I would have been fine with that. And like even like when he possesses his body, like they make it so cinematic, and because like they make it so like the colors and everything, like God, like and that's the thing too about this show that I love about it, and it's it's a girl and a ghost, but it plays like even like when like they're not following in the ghost world, which would have been cool, would have been still interesting, seeing all the different ghost types they could easily come up with. When they do the human world stuff, it's all still fun. It's all still great. And it's all written well. It's not just a fish out of water story every single time like Star Versus was, and it wasn't annoying as shit. It's like, why not go to these other universes that you're going to keep mentioning? Molly Mcgee had two worlds, human world and the ghost world, and it played with both of them extremely well. There's some times where I could have used some more ghost world stuff, but the human world stuff on Earth were always fun. They weren't ever bad. Even if it was a small thing, it was great. And like you felt the friendship between these two. And again, like I like the idea that a show about ghosts is also, like sometimes, it's like one of their family members passed away right there. It's sad and fuck. But like the thing is too, like we also do know that eventually, Scratch will die. That's the thing too. That's the thing. And again, like something was showing with Ghost, knowing about the ghost world, knowing that ghosts exist and all this stuff. We know Scratch will die. Hell, we know, spoilers I guess, every one of them is gonna die. Molly will die, Sharon will die, all of them will die at some point. And they'll all meet up again. Because they'll become ghosts. We know that. We also know, apparently, at least, they're saying, like, I don't know if there's heaven or hell in this universe, but we do know that there's ghosts, and when you die, you become a ghost. And so, they'll all meet up again later. And it's wonderful. Like, that's the thing, like, and that's the thing, too, because, again, it does the Amphibia ending better also. Because the whole thing is that, like, we do technically get a time frame, kind of maybe, of when Anne will eventually meet Sprig and Polly and all them again. When she's 98 or some shit and she dies and becomes God. But then you have the whole thing of, what's the point? Because Sprig will, like, Hop Pop is dead. Polly could be dead, or Sprig could be dead by then. Where this, no matter how long it takes for any of them to die, we know they'll eventually meet up again. And you sure as hell know Molly will throw the biggest welcome home party, or Scratch will throw the biggest, welcome to the ghost world for Molly. Like, I don't even want to talk about fucking Ollie anymore because, god damn it, I'll save that for another video. But also, like, I've said, like, I want to do a stream of me drawing. I think I kind of mentioned her before, Vicky McGoo, I'm not sure yet on the name yet. A character that I want to appear in Owlwolf Town. I think that'll be like the first stream I do where I want to work on her design somewhat, at least get a rough draft of her a little bit. Because I have an idea of her already. I kind of want to work on that. Her and her ghost friend, I don't know, Splat. Well, I'll come with something, but yeah, I don't know. These are, this show's great. Seeing these together and seeing the idea, the message, go live your life, have fun. Live your life, have fun, and, remember the people even if they move on. And in a sense, like, Scratch is moving on. he's moving on with his life. He's leaving Brighton, and like he's probably not gonna. And like that's the cool thing about this thing too is it's treated as if Scratch is dying almost, like he's moving on to the next life. And the thing is, he's moving on to a new chapter of his life. He's moving on, meeting up with friends we thought he thought was dead, and it turns out it's not. And you know, it's really cool. It's really like cool how that's really good writing to have that. A show about ghosts and the character coming back to life and living that life is treated like he's moving on because he is. And oh god, that's the thing about this show. Again, Amphibia was an okay show for most of it. The finale for season 1 and 2 were probably some of the best finales in animation history. I don't think, and here's the thing, I don't think I'm underselling that. Like, those are some really good ones where they leave on a good-ass cliffhanger. You don't know who's gonna live. You don't know who's gonna die. It is done extremely well. By God. The Owl House, as a whole, is still my favorite. Still amazing. The swirl, the story writing, all that stuff is great. It ends, I would say, extremely well, if not perfectly, for it, because it allows it to end, has all the characters come together, does not go against its own theme that it's set up throughout the entire damn show, and it leaves it open to tell more stories. The Ghost and Molly Mcgee, even though I would say, like, yeah, there are still obviously stories you can tell whether they want to follow other characters or not, but the whole thing is the Ghost and Molly Mcgee. You have to follow Molly and her ghost friend. If they wanted to do, like, a mini-series or something like that, they could have Scratch later on dying and trying to find an older Molly. Trying to remember, Molly, trying to find an older Molly and all that stuff, and maybe he's always just 1 second away, or he talks to, the person who owns the bookstore trying to find Molly there and see like what happened, but he doesn't recognize Libby there, or doesn't recognize the tycoon who's running like a new business industry with his hacker girlfriend or whatever, or partner June. Maybe the old people, no folks home, like you don't really recognize it, or the one old lady, the other one's dead, and the ghost might still be there or not. And, like, maybe, like, Scratch doesn't recognize that big-nosed ghost. And eventually, maybe, he goes to the mayor's office maybe to check there, and that's where he finds Molly. Like, you could have easily, a reunion kind of thing for it. For, like, if this is the end of this series. This is the bottle cap. This is the nice thing about it. If they wanted an extra little story to add a little bit more feels and all that stuff, that's an easy way they could go with that. 100%. Like, to have them reunite for, like, one more little thing. Would it ever happen? I don't know. I don't think Disney will do that. But I think it'd be cute. And I think it'd be kind of great. Especially, let's say, Avia and Scratch both die similar times or whatnot. Like, Scratch could introduce Audia to him or whatever. Like, Molly, this is my best friend Audia. Molly, this is my best friend Molly, and I don't know. This show is great. Like, I really enjoy. Like, I'd say this is one of my favorite, my top. Because that's the thing too. Like, yeah, there's no big. Like, there are some stakes with like Jinx trying to take over, and there's stuff like certain things like that. But like 90% of this show is just these characters enjoying each other or having interactions and having fun with each other and becoming best friends pretty much. And you feel it all the way through. And like this ghost becoming a family with it. And again, that's the one thing I also brought up like in season 1 too. Like if you have something like the Grim Adventures of Billy Mandy, Grim I don't think ever felt like family to like Billy and Mandy. He was just a toy they could play with. But this show that follows in a similar vein, no, it's like Scratch becomes family. And even the main thing that they would usually drag out for like like this episode, the ending of like the curse that binds Molly and Scratch together forever, that they would drag it out to like the finale of the show. They don't. They end that like the first season. Like even before the season finale, they end that. And Scratch is just like, I just love my family. I just want to protect them. Like, there's so much. And again, I don't want to talk bad about a certain character anymore, how another character got gypped. I'll probably make another video about that, honestly. Or maybe I'll even talk about that in the stream where I draw Vicky Magoo. I don't know. But this show is great. I really like it. To the writers, I don't know if you'd ever see this, but to the writers on this show, you did one hell of a good job. The voice actors, everyone, you all did an extremely good job. This show is extremely done well. Amazing. I love Wander Over Yonder. Don't get me wrong, that was another show that got gypped. And the ending was like, it left off on a cliffhanger. But like, it was more like, oh man, like, that probably what season 3 would have been about. It didn't feel like it was an end, though. Like, it felt like it was supposed to be lead into season 3. It didn't feel like something that would cap it off. But this feels like, yes, it's the end. You know, there wasn't no really big plot twist other than Jinx, and that's already filled in. Andrea's stuff is probably the only thing left, but other than that, like, this show is great. I recommend this show if you haven't watched it. And I don't know why you're watching this, but this show is great. I would recommend rewatching it then at this point. This is the end of a chapter for Disney. I gotta see what other new shows are on right now. I gotta finish watching Moon Girl and Devil Dino. Season 2 is apparently coming out next month. But Amphibia, Owl House, and the Ghost and Molly Mcgee, which it's also really funny too because Amphibia and becomes a god. In Owl House, Luz becomes a demon, or the devil, a demon, and in this, Molly becomes a ghost. So you have the god, you have the devil, and you have the human soul. Like, I just love that a lot. It literally finishes the trifecta with this show, I honestly think. And that's the thing too, like even setting up for both, like both of them were big grand adventures, while this one was a nice mellower show. Again, this was a show that I would watch to make me feel happier, would have a great stinger joke at the end, and like the dialogue is so good, the acting was good. I think this is probably one of the best, like this is a show that literally enhappifies you. And I think that's probably a good spot to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you're videos I've done, links are on my face. Subscription buttons are on there somewhere. Please check out my videos. Hopefully enjoy this. Just watch for that stream where I'm going to design Vicky Magoo and Splat. And we will. See you later. The Ghost and Molly Mcgee.